Well, welcome aboard this edition of Wild Goose Adventures. We're going to be delivering a 50-foot yacht from Mooloolaba up to Hervey Bay. Mooloolaba sits just north of Brisbane and just north of Moreton Island and all the sandbanks onto Moreton Island. To access through to Fraser Island, it's around about 57 nautical miles and it's easy sailing. We're going to go past Noosa, we're going to go past Double Island Point. Before we even get out of here, Mooloolaba has traditionally been a very safe anchorage, but over time the sandbars have built up, and so there's lots of sands just immediately outside the breakwater here. So maybe that's our most infamous start and infamous challenge. We're going to leave in the morning on the high tide, but as you can see, there's been a few dramas and there's been a bit of chaos, and people have had some issues getting in just in here at Mooloolaba. So this is the start of our morning. Since we have a few battery issues, but the morning is beautiful. Not long before we get underway. Still at Mooloolaba, just after 7 o'clock in the morning. So much for our early start. Like all these things, the bigger the boat and the more complicated the electric is on it, just the more things can go wrong. And it seems that the auto electrician has been and done his thing, and there's a lot of power been draining and the engine won't start, so we need to find out why. So we had to wait for him to get up and come to work this morning, and so he's now here having a look. So our exit from Mooloolaba has been a little bit delayed.
Meet me by the road, let's see where it goes. Yeah, the devil can't find me if I don't stay here. We'll take a left turn after midnight. God, I hope we stay right. Yeah, the devil can't find me if I disappear. They've got 100 miles to catches. No one ever thought I'd be leaving the devil this way. Well, it's midnight, no left turn in sight. Yeah, the devil's gonna catch me if I don't find a better way.
So after a long day and fixing the electrical issues, next stop, the sun's going to go down, we're going to have an overnight sail. Next stop is going to be Wide Bay Bar. we're just off Double Island Point. We are going to make it into Wide Bay Bar just on sunrise or just before. So we're just getting organised to go in. That beautiful nor'easter or east-northeasterly we had earlier on has faded away, and it's just left us to be able to motor under the light of this beautiful full moon. But what a lovely sail under a full moon. But we made it down into Gary's anchorage, and having been here, I thought we might just take advantage of Steve's faster dinghy and go and have a little look around. The northern entrance around Stewart Island is fairly shallow and better suited for smaller and shallow drafted vessels, and is welcomed by some houses adorning the shoreline. Maybe it was all the more fun just whizzing around this scenic waterway in this great dinghy. With that being done, it's time now to head north, and I want to show Steve some more places, and we're going to hopefully end up tonight in Kingfisher Bay. Well, Sunkissed and Salty is safely anchored at Kingfisher Bay, Fraser Island. Yesterday though was a bit of an exercise in dealing with the Great Sandy Straits and its sandbanks. On the change of tide, we left Gary's anchorage and motored quietly down to head to Kingfisher Bay. Sheraton Flats came back to bite us in the bottom really hard. The tide was still a bit low by the time we got there. That current that was racing in actually took us there much faster than I expected, and as a result, by the time we got there, there still wasn't enough water to get through. So there was a few anxious moments as we waited. We bumped across the ground a couple of times. What I wanted to show you is I actually think that some of the channels and the sandbanks have moved, and they haven't moved the channel markers to accommodate that. I think this is the best way that I can show you what I'm talking about. As we head north and we're coming up through these markers here, this is what I determine as the change of tide, and possibly the lowest mark in the whole of this Great Sandy Straits. So you need to come here to get access the north to the south or south to north. So as we're coming through, we hit just here, and then we bounced again at this marker here, and the final part, as we were approaching these two reds, what we found was that there was a big sandbank that was just immediately ahead of us as we were heading north, that it actually dried right around that red marker there. So that was a bit of an issue, and we had to wait until there was enough water to get through. Now, I've never seen sand actually exposed on that red marker, or just where we were supposed to be going on this side of the red marker. All in here was dry sand. Then as we came around and headed between that red marker and this one, this whole area was very, very shallow as well, and in fact we ended up sticking, let me see if I can get this, right up hard against this dry bank, and it seemed to have sculpted a deeper path to go around closer to that bit up here and then come around and get through. And once we did that, we had no troubles, we were okay. But just be careful when you're coming through that you might want to look out for that. And as a reminder again, come through at high tide, be here on the highest possible tide, and it probably will reduce a whole heap of those issues that we had yesterday. Just reminded me that this whole area is really nice when you get the timing right, and if you have the time to do it, and it can be awfully distressing and awfully difficult and just plain hard when you don't have the right timing and the right time to do it. So we're sailing back from Kingfisher Bay, and this is the Great Sandy Straits in its true element. A light sou'easter is blowing, the sun's out, the tide's going with us, and we're just meandering our way back. So just ahead of us we're going to have a little woody island. Off to the port side is Big Woody Island, but it's all, this is shipping channel, so there's no need to stress. We just take it easy and enjoy the sail. So after a beautiful day's sailing, we managed to catch the tides right this time. Had a lovely sail up the final bit of the Great Sandy Straits, past Pelican Banks, and then back down into what is the Great Sandy Straits Marina and Complex. We're actually anchored here now at the boat club, where the boat is going to stay. It's safe and sound, it's nice and tucked away, and I'm going to tuck myself away, ready for my little ride back to my car in the morning. So that's it for this episode of Wild Youth Adventures. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, that'll be totally awesome. And until next time, smooth sailing.